Hey, what's going on, everyone? I'm the OPJellicent, and I have week number 2 of season number 6 of the WPL, going against Oscar and the Beacher Beartics. This is our first week of divisional matchups. So we battle Oscar weeks 2, which is this match, and then week number 11, I believe. And then weeks 3 and 9 and 5 and 12 are also divisional matches. So these matches are really important since your division is obviously who you're competing with to fight for a playoff spot. Well, they're the biggest competition. Obviously, the other division in your conference is also a big competition, but this is a really important match, so we're hoping to come out with a win. Also, be sure to go ahead and check out Oscar down below in the description. His link will be down there, and be sure to also follow the WPL Twitter and YouTube channels, which will also be down there, since we are doing some updates on the Twitter and posting some analyst stuff over on the YouTube channel. So yeah, be sure to check all that stuff out. Let's go ahead and get directly into the matchup for this week. So I think we definitely brought a really solid team. We brought Galvantula, but we did not bring a web set. We brought an offensive life orb set, since webs, as you can see, pretty much did nothing against his team. The rest of his roster didn't really do anything to that either, so I figured an offensive set with Bug Buzz, Thunder, Volt Switch, and Energy Ball was the best way to go with this. We have offensive Calm Mind Delati with Dragon Pulse, Psychic, and I believe it was Shadow Ball, yeah. So Shadow Ball was obviously for the Doublade, the Decidueye, and the Mew, so if we can Calm Mind in front of the Mew, even if it is Calm Mind itself, we can throw off Shadow Balls and easily 1v1 that. I was going to go Psy-Up, but I figured Calm Mind pretty much covered the exact same options. We have Assault Vest Cragonal, which isn't really that important this week. Its coverage is Knockoff, Ice Beam, Freeze Dry, and Ice Shard, but he didn't bring the Toxapex or the Hydreigon, which is it was meant to switch into those. It isn't even 2-hit KO'd by Specs Draco from the Hydreigon, and Freeze Dry does a really big amount to the Toxapex from it does like over half at 2-hit KOs. So that was what that was meant for, but he didn't bring either of those, so really it's just here to help out with the Vikavolt and the Pidgeot. It doesn't get 2-hit KO'd by either of those. We have defensive Tail Glow Manaphy, which you can barely see behind Big Mamoswine right here, but it's really great in switching into the Kangaskhan and the Doublade. Doublade is actually setup fodder, because even at +2, his Shadow Claws are not 2-hit KOing me. I'm max defense and then 148 HP. And then we have Jolly Life Orb Mamoswine right here. Ice Shard does a really good amount in case he is Agility Vikavolt. We can hit him with something else and then pick him off with Mamoswine. Pretty much OHKOs the Pidgeot, and then it just does a ton of work against everything else. We also have Knockoff for the Mew, and then Psyche MZ Gengar, which was also for Toxapex, but we really have no reason to click Psyche MZ this match, since we do have the Focus Blast for the Kangaskhan, and Shadow Ball hits pretty much everything else. Obviously not Pidgeot, but we can hit that with I guess we could kill Psyche MZ against the Pidgeot if we really wanted to. That would be our hardest thing to hit that with. But let's go ahead and get right into the match. I think I've talked about the team long enough. I end up leading off with my Cryogonal, as he leads off with the Mew, pretty much just so that we can't run Defog at all, but we do have the Rapid Spin just because in case he has rocks. Obviously we can't run Defog because we are Assault Vest for the potential Hydreigon, but I figured this was a fine lead since we don't need this Cryogonal that much, and as you can see, our Assault Vest is revealed right there since that Flamethrower did absolutely nothing. And I figured the Latios was a pretty safe switch right now. Now, right here, we end up getting a pretty bad crit onto this Decidueye. No Spadef drop, which is fine, but basically, I got his spread after. He had 112 Spadef, and I believe it was max HP. He couldn't OHKO me with Spirit Shackle, and Shadow Ball was a roll. It was doing 46 to 55, so had I gotten 2 low rolls and he restalled me, the important part was that I would have had him low enough to break through with Tail Glow Manaphy with the Ice Beam, even through his Yachi Berry, which I did confirm that he had after. So as you can see, Manaphy is clearly the win con right now. It sets up against a ton. It isn't even 2-hit KO'd by the Mega Pidgeot's Hurricane after leftovers. So Manaphy is really the win condition in this match, but this Decidueye really needed to go, and despite that crit, I think it set up for Manaphy pretty well. We ended up getting rid of that, so that's going to allow Lottie to do a little bit more work here. He's going to go into Pidgeot and U-turn. I have no reason to switch out. Now I know we can take a Hurricane, and I just throw off a Psychic. Thankfully no Spadef drop on that. That would have been terrible for him, but I go out here into my Manaphy, which is great against this thing, and he goes Kangaskhan, which is obviously setup fodder for me. I go right here for the Tail Glow. If he was Scarf Vikavolt, that could have been pretty bad, but then I could have easily brought in my Lottie, my Mamoswine, or even my Galvantula, which isn't 2-hit KO'd by Scarf Thunderbolt, even after the Life Orb hit. But he isn't Scarf, so I'll just go right for the Surf right here and knock that out. which is great. And at this point, Manaphy is just going to do a ton of work. The only thing he can do is hope that he confuses me with the Mega Pidgeot's Hurricane, which, as I said, isn't going to even 2-hit KO after the Leftovers recovery. And we can break through that with the Ice Beam. So that's, what is that, 3 kills for Manaphy right now? No, Lottie got the kill on the Decidueye, but Shadow Sneak's not going to do anything. We can surf that thing out of there. Kangaskhan's going to come out. We won't be able to OHKO this. I'm pretty sure that was Assault Vest or something, not sure. But Brick is not going to do anything. Banded Double Edge could have killed, I guess, but it would have to be Adamant Band, and I wasn't really expecting that at all. Mew's going to come out, and we can surf that thing, and Psychic's not going to do a lot. Even with a crit, he would not have knocked me out, and we can finish up the match with another surf. So, Manaphy proving itself 2 weeks in a row. I'm really glad I picked this thing up. It wasn't even my round 1 pick, Mega Latios was, so that's pretty insane. But we ended up picking up a nice and 6-0 victory in week number 2. Like I said, crit sucked, but I think at that point Manaphy was set up to sweep anyway, since the Ice Beam would have broken through the Decidueye after the Shadow Ball damage from the Latios. So it's hard to say what would have happened in the end, since Latios would obviously have not been able to get the Psychic damage off on the Doublade. But in the end, I think I might have been able to pull it out with Manaphy too, and if not, I still had a ton of other options. But who knows, we do face Oscar again in week number 11. Once again, be sure to go ahead and check him out down below, and we are starting off the season really strong, 2-0. So I hope you guys enjoy it, and I will see you guys for another divisional match next week against DS Gaming and the Birmingham Vulpix.